Hello, hello. I am Paula Marie, and welcome to Black Girls Do. This is the safe, sacred space where all Black girls in the world get to share and show off their superpowers. And I'm here today with Miss Keva Price. Miss Keva Price, let me tell you, she's my sister. So I know a whole lot about her, and I can't
Yeah.
wait to introduce her to the rest of the world. She's my Pilates sis. So she's amazing. But I'm going to let Kiva introduce herself and all of her superpowers to you.
Okay. Well, thank you, Paula. Thanks for having me. So, my name is Keva Price. I'm a physical therapist and a Pilates instructor, and I've been a physical therapist for almost 20 years now. And
Wow, I didn't know it was
yeah,
that long.
I know I can't believe it. I have been certified in Pilates for I think since about '04.
Hmm.
But I've really delved deeper in the Pilates practice for myself, but also for physical therapy patients and classes just more recently, the past few years. I also love dance. Been dancing since I was a little kid, and yeah, and salsa right now is my thing. So,
That's
so
your
yeah,
thing.
yes, that's my thing. So all of that together just has made me move a lot over the years.
So I think that's why we connected so fiercely is because we both are Pilates, sis, like that's our jam. And we both love dance, where yours is salsa, mine is African dance, but both are very much connected. And we have, I think, um, bright personalities. Let me put it like that.
Yeah, I would say you're bright personality too as well. Thank
Personalities.
you.
We're kind of colorful. So our spirits just kind of melted into each other. But I was fascinated to meet you because of the physical therapy background, just to be able to have a little bit more science that you can apply to the work of Pilates. Because when I look at Pilates, I'm thinking about what the body is showing me, and I
Right.
keep it very simplistic. So when it goes to like the analytics and all of that deep dive into that, my brain shuts
And
down, and I don't know if that's the creative in me or what. And so I love hearing you speak about that. And in this season that we're in with COVID,
yeah,
where everything stopped, like everything stopped, like I literally left work on a Friday and everything was fine. And by the time I entered my parking lot at home, I got a call that said everything had stopped. So people have literally stopped on a dime. There wasn't a sudden stop, it wasn't an ease.
right. It was just like one day we're normal, and the next day it's completely this new world. I forgot
Right.
about that for people that aren't working during this time because I'm still working, I'm still in the clinic, less patients now,
Right.
but um, but to have not really a time to mentally and then really gather up your things to
Yeah.
do everything at
Yeah.
home now.
And it's a mental and physical thing because for me working from home, like my day changes. I work in a fitness environment, but I have an office. I have a stand up desk now because of a back injury. So I may sit a while, then I may stand up and work that way. I'm walking through the building. I may have a class to teach at
Oh, right.
10:30. you know I may have to jump to the in the car and go around the corner and grab lunch, so I'm moving throughout my day, right? And now there's no movement, like my office, my lunch, my bed, everything is,
Right.
yeah. So
But
there's a, I guess, a deficit of how to move our bodies in this
right.
space.
So even people that weren't used to being very active as work, like at work, like you are, if they're used to being at a desk, they at least for, maybe walking to another colleague's office, or like you said,
Exactly.
maybe going out for lunch or going up or downstairs in their office building. But now, or taking metro, but now it's just like, okay, they're at the computer, at the desk, they're like this, maybe not even having a good desk space.
Exactly.
Right now I'm in my Pilates studio. I'm sitting on the floor, but um, ideally I wouldn't want to, have my laptop down really low. You don't necessarily want to be sitting on your bed, and kind of the back, it begins to sink in. You may have support of the pillows, or you're sitting in a kitchen chair that's really hard.
Right.
So for a lot of people's bodies, they're, even if they were very sedentary or semi-sedentary at work, now that's like double the amount of how sedentary they are now at home. So a big part, and something that I try and make sure I tell like patients and then in Pilates classes, is kind of opening up the front part of the body, so we're not like this at the
Right.
computer, as well as the lower half, the front part, your pelvis and everything, because of sitting, have that L shape there. And work in the back body, work in the booty and the back of the arm, not just for, nice booty, but for functional purposes as well,
Yeah, yeah,
and health
yeah.
purposes. So yeah. So this changed a lot of people's bodies, the COVID
And
19.
I don't think people realize how powerful their booties are, right? Like I think we as women, we kind of think of it as either a blessing or a curse. And sometimes we think of both depending on the situation, right?
Right. Uh-huh.
Because it's like, oh, I can't tuck, or I can't, all these things that
Oh yeah,
we
that's a
as
big part.
yeah, like
Not being able to tuck because of certain disease.
yeah, yeah, how you're posturally built. And so I think that we need to embrace the strength that we have in our glutes, because they are I tell this in every class, they're the strongest muscles in your body. Like you use them, like
Right.
use them. And I think that when we're sitting, like I'm always sitting straight. I think it's just, hazard of teaching Pilates, right?
Right.
But I feel this like space in my back that's like heavy because I don't have the right chair to be able
Right.
to like sit for hours, and I don't have the movement of getting up and walking to the water fountain,
Yeah.
walking to warm up my food, going up and down stairs. So that lack of movement, and everyone's not a let's get up and throw a video on or turn on
Right.
something and
Right.
work out. Like
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
everyone's not built like that. So are there things that we can do in our chairs, just in our
Right.
chairs, that we can do while we're sitting? Because um, I have a back injury. I discussed it with you earlier from a car accident. So I feel like everything is like this, right, in my low back. And standing for long periods of time, even dancing for long periods of time.
Yeah.
And I'm talking like 6, 7 minutes. That's a long period of time for me.
Well, it's a
So
song. It's a couple
it's,
songs.
yeah, a couple,
Yeah.
that's two,
Couple
two
songs. A
songs.
song.
I'm done.
Mhm.
But I feel like during the day, there should be something that we can share with the world to let them know that they can do. So do you have any suggestions for that?
Yeah. Well, as a matter of fact, I actually had some exercise I called desk Pilates.
Okay.
And so, yeah, so they're on my channel, my YouTube channel, Instagram.
I love your YouTube channel. I love it. I'm going to make sure I place it in the
Oh,
comments so
yes.
people can follow you.
Yeah. And everything's Keva Price Pilates. So it makes it easier, I guess.
Got
But yeah, so the whole desk Pilates, if you can imagine you're sitting at your desk, right, on the computer,
it. I'm sitting.
and you want, so for example, like the saw. So talking about getting some rotation, getting a little flexion, some bending in the back. Just have your feet apart, similar to in the saw, but your feet are flat on the floor, and making sure you're sitting tall without lifting the rib cage up. You don't have to stick out your boobs. Keeping that rib cage down and connected with your belly button. And just like the saw in Pilates, you can't really see my arms, but you take your breath, inhale, and then exhale. And as you rotate, you're still articulating or bending, flexing forward to reach, not for that little toe when they talk about sawing off the toe, for the saw, the way that the name came about, you're leaning towards the saw, the desk. So if your desk is about, the height of your chest, you're sawing the desk a couple times forward, inhale up, and exhale, rotate over. So just like when and then the other side. But when you're at your computer desk, you want to also make sure that your shoulders are up. So just like with the posture and a good alignment, as you rotate, you're making sure that you're sawing the desk without having to reach.
You want to see my neck. You want to see my neck. Yeah.
Right, yeah, you want to see your neck, yeah. So it can help people to use that exercise as a little reminder not to kind of shrug the shoulder when you're stressed and you're taping and so that may be rotation. You can just push away from the computer and then fold forward to get the flexion, the rounding in the back. A little desk mermaid, so side bending, so you would just slide your arm, would be going like down towards the floor. Maybe you reach the arm over your head, for a nice stretch there, opening up that whole side body, and just breathing. That's another thing at the back, at your and then the other side, yeah.
I gotta be even. I gotta be even, Keva. I gotta get even.
But a big part is, at our desk, we're stressed and people probably aren't breathing, taking deep breaths. And last would be extension. And that could be, I'd probably say standing up and getting some extension, lean back to get an arch in the back. Putting, your hands at your low back to support. That position, though, a lot of people have stress on their back lift.
Right.
So sitting, usually people will say, oh yeah, sitting at the desk or sitting in an ergonomic chair is great. Well, yeah, but if you still are sitting in it like this, it's not that ergonomic, right?
Glad you said that, because I think we think that the props and the toys are going to replace the work that we have to do every day, every second of every day.
Yeah, you have to live with your body. You're with it all the time, all of your body.
Absolutely.
But that's something, just as we age in general, we just want to look out for, whether that's us or whether we're talking about parents, just working on just maintaining at least the range of motion. So if you notice, oh, I can go all the way over here to twist and get to my, pick up the grandkid or pick up this book that's on my shelf. Actually, you don't really want to pick up the grandkid this way, but pick up a book or something. But when I go this way, I just stop right here, or maybe my arm doesn't reach all the way over on one side, doesn't reach over my head with the other side. Just kind of paying attention. You don't have to be this super flexible, gymnast or anything, but you just want to make sure that you don't want to just have an excuse of I'm getting old.
Right.
Because I can tell you, just as like I've had patients in their 80s plus, actually a couple 90-year-olds that, oh yeah, they can bend their knee all the way up like this. They may have some other issues that we may have worked on, like balance, but the range of motion doesn't just go away because we're older.
Right.
It's just sometimes, just not using those muscles as much, not noticing that there's an issue before it's kind of too late.
I think that's the biggest thing, is just knowing what your body feels like, so that when it changes,
Yes.
you're able to see that. And so as I'm teaching my classes, I'm always referring to the right and the left, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I always say this thing called give your body some grace, because there's always one side that's a little stronger, a little bit more flexible, it could be for
Right.
whatever reason. And I want you to pay attention to that. I want you to know like what side it is. I want you to know, realize the space of increasing that flexibility or gaining that strength that you gain through the process of taking your classes week in and week out. But then I also want you to be easy on that side that,
Right. Don't go crazy. And
yeah,
it's like, oh, I'm gonna force it over.
yes,
Yeah.
give it some grace. Let it will come. You're aware of it. So now
Mm-hmm.
you will
Yeah.
just, you'll move with a little bit more intention, but Rome wasn't built in a day.
Right.
So
Exactly.
just give
Exactly.
your body some grace.
Yeah.
So you are still working, you're still seeing patients.
Yeah.
Are the things that you are noticing in your patients, the issues that they're having, have they changed in this season of COVID? Have
Hmm.
they exasperated anything, or um, are they still coming in for the same chronic issues that they were before?
That's a good question. So one thing on one side of it, we're getting less patients for car accidents because you're not driving as much, right? So that's a good thing. And then
That's a great thing.
less surgeries because, or post-surgical patients because we haven't been doing surgeries. So that's opened it up for people that are comfortable to kind of come in for things that maybe had been bothering them for a while, something that they just didn't fall down and hurt their shoulder. It's like, oh man, this has hurt for, I don't know, months, which a lot of that's a lot of people's pain that it's been going on for a while. They
Right.
might do something for it and they might not. They may realize that they're not moving the same or that it hurts to do this and maybe stop doing it. It's something else that's common. Um, but I haven't seen a major change from the back pains and shoulder pains that we were having before. But just maybe because people are being still now a little more, that they're like, maybe I should go get it checked out. I may have more time now.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, those chronic issues are a big problem. I mean, I had one myself.
I do
Um,
as well. I
and
do as
yeah,
well.
and just needing to know that for me it was, yeah, people were like, oh, you should know what to do, you can just fix yourself.
Right.
Well, I had to have the mindset, one, that I needed to get some help because at first I did do my own thing, but I was continuing to work at the same capacity,
Right.
dance at the same capacity on the dance team, and work. Our job is pretty active, um, and wasn't really taking any medication. But the other thing I needed was rest. So, and more sleep. And so, with those two things, and the PT, seeing the PT helped as well. But I mean, a big part of it was really doing more stability work than I realized I even needed. Like, I needed another person to step in and say, okay, they could feel on me as I'm doing something, or they could see me doing something, as you can't see yourself that well. Um, and the amount of repetition. And now I'm still continuing to do those movements because once you're feeling good, you can't just stop. That's another thing that personal experience now I've realized, actually I've noticed about my life, that you're not continuing and maintaining those gains, even if it's just small strengthening.
Right.
I'm not saying like,
Hmm.
whoa, build it up by biceps real big. It's just the small core muscles around pelvis, which can lead to back pain, back issues. When you stop, that issue may come back. So also just really educating a lot of the patients just on things like that. Like, this is an instant cure. Your PT takes a lot of extra effort other than
Right.
just me massaging you or stretching you. There's a lot of work you'll have to do, and it may take longer than you kind of want. So,
Sure. So I wanted to ask, it was two questions that popped up when you were talking. The importance of someone else um, having another set of eyes on you. Because I think that we both have probably encountered those persons that say, oh, I do this at home, oh, I do that at home, oh, I work out in the gym, oh, this is my process, right? And I don't think that they realize that the repetition of certain exercises without any change in
mm-hmm.
time and frequency um, will do a lot of damage.
Yes, so that, yeah, that in itself, not
Mhm.
changing things up or knowing how. And then also just what does the rest of your body look like when you're doing a bicep curl?
Yes.
Or in Pilates, like, there's so many things you have to think about that, I can think of a couple, but I need that instructor to just kind of say, oh, what about watch your shoulder blades. And, I'm worrying about my core
Yeah, yeah,
contraction
yeah, because that's
or
your
my
focus.
feet or whatever
Hmm.
I'm doing, lengthening my neck. But having someone else to just give you those extra reminders in a nice, relaxed voice help. Um, and with the imagery, that's a whole that I have to say, being a Pilates instructor has helped my physical therapy practice,
Hmm.
treating patients, because of the amount of imagery that I learned with Pilates, and that now I'm developing with Pilates, that I didn't
Wow.
really, I can't say I was taught it in physical therapy school. I mean, granted, it was a while back, but it wasn't, like, you learn exercises, or we learn the attachments of all the muscles. We learn what the muscles do, what nerves give them the power, um, how the nerve gets to the muscle from the brain, but how to do a movement and what your body, we know what our body should look like with the
Right.
movement, or walking, gait, or lifting, but are all these things parts working when you're going to lift? And how do you get somebody to feel that they shouldn't lift like this?
Yeah.
That the whole rib cage down, like, some people never had their rib cage down. The connection and the abs,
Right.
all of that. I mean, I feel like my body has um, changed a lot on the inside as far as
Mhm.
feeling different muscles, knowing when to use them, just the awareness of my own body. Because I thought I was pretty aware, like the dance. I thought, oh yeah,
Don't we
good.
all, honey? All
Okay.
instructors think they are pretty aware, and you're double. You're an instructor and a PT, so you he had it double.
I'm just amazed sometimes when I'm like, oh wow! Just before we talked, I was reading something, and the blog post explained of how we wanted to move the arm, and talking about movements of the elbow, and the image that she wanted to describe and for us to do. And I was like, wow, I never thought of it like that. Granted, I could do the same thing a different way, but having someone verbalize it and me to be able to do it into my body, that's like a whole other experience. Kind of
Right.
exciting, and you're like, give your body a little body high, maybe.
Uh, so, how has it changed for your clients that are walking into your physical therapy center? What are the parameters, the requirements? What should we um, be thinking? Because for me, I'm nervous. Like I have to go back and get that cortisone shot rescheduled. That was
Oh, right, right. I mean,
interrupted, but I'm nervous. I'm nervous, Kiva, about walking into that setting and being
yeah,
exposed. So, what are some things that
right.
you could help us with?
Yeah, so I mean, we have a sign on the door that says, first of all, if you have any of these symptoms, fever, cough, feeling bad in general, that we don't want you in there. We don't have our patients sit in the waiting room. We don't have a lot of people congregating there, but now especially, you come in, you sign or fill out this paper that asks you where you've been, basically, if you've been in contact with different regions, and that's changed over the weeks of the quarantine. And then we're wearing masks, and we're taking temperatures, and we put in the temperature, and then after that they come back. We have just two rooms, but we have beds in the gym, or tables in the gym. We make sure it's like every other person. We don't have so we have two bikes and treadmill and stairmaster. We don't have people on the equipments that are side by side, so we're keeping people 6 feet apart and making sure. A big thing is the cleaning. As soon as someone comes off, you're there wiping things down. Our schedule's lighter, so I don't have to go to work with another patient so quickly. As I see my other guy get off the bike, I can at least remember. It makes me remember more easily to go ahead and wipe it down right after he gets off. um, so as I think about it, with us, we can't keep uh, keep 6 feet away from patients when we're working on their neck or their shoulder, back. um, but when I'm cueing them, I'll just uh, learn to just stand away and kind of from afar. um, so I mean, I think I was telling you before, I think it's been, for me, it's because I've seen these same patients through the process, the weeks, that I've gotten, with the mask, when I can, to be further away from them. I've been, I felt, comfortable treating the patients. We, we're working to keep everything clean, but I mean, the biggest thing is making sure there's not a lot of people within a confined space.
The waiting area.
Um,
The waiting
and then
area.
I think some places, doctors' offices are saying, if you do have a lobby where people sit, they're having you sit in your car and calling you and texting you when you're ready. And just, obviously washing your hands, not, getting your hands near your face, which for me as a PT, so we usually just wear gloves for, as a universal precaution for, um, blood and bodily fluids. So with cleaning and everything, we wipe down with our wipes. We're just making sure we wash our hands really well. I'm very used to, I think, we're having to wear gloves in the past, and having to know, how to take them off, turn them inside out, get them without, touching the outside, has kind of helped me. I don't wear them for everyday, um, or everyday work activities, though. I'm just washing my hands a lot, and I'm just so used to not touching my face,
Right.
partially from physical therapy and then also from salsa dancing. I was always used to, like, touching a lot of people, hands and everything, washing my hands before I would get and leave and go to my car. So just that in my body, just in my normal practice, has helped.
Right.
Um, gosh,
Well,
the
that's
the yeah.
like,
So for you, I
for
mean,
me, I guess I need to vet any place that I'm going to make sure that their practices are um, following that
right,
standard. I'm
right,
just
right. That's
nervous
important.
about the patient that was there before me,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah,
and the patient that was there 3 hours before.
right, right.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I
those are
mean,
my concerns, and it is keeping people from getting the service and the care that they do need.
yeah, I mean, we have, I think, just the patient population that we have are mostly Medicare, so older. But I don't know, for some reason, I think the ones that obviously have stayed, they're
Hmm.
just, I don't know if they're just, um, maybe it's not directly affected by it. They're watching the news and everything, or I'm not sure. It's a good question to sort of ask some of them, you know, why usually the ones that will say thank you for being open still,
Right.
um, things like that, is because they have something that's going on in the body that they're like, they just couldn't um, have this break in progress. Like there have some people that had had surgery in early, I guess, yeah, early February or late February. So when
Right.
this happened, they were just in their beginning stages, and they were just like, I gotta get this. Like I guess that pushed them in more. Um, but then on the other side, I had some people that were more concerned. I did have a lady that had um, I got a few with some shoulder, knee surgeries that had opted not, to continue. And so what we did, made sure I called them, asked them if they had any questions. We gave them home exercises. Definitely offering, hey, you can call me up because we're not working as many hours.
Right.
Call me up, ask me questions. I can walk you through, if you have questions on your exercises. And we've been really accommodating. We're very a family, like I'd say, PT clinic. There's three therapists and two people manning our front office. So we're small. I forget.
Not a lot of, you're not congregating, is what it sounds like. There's not enough staff to congregate. You
Right.
have
So
enough.
small office. We have a separate, office and little kitchen area, couple private rooms. But I feel like our patients, we have lots of return patients. So they've known us for years, and they feel. I know a lot of them had said, "Oh, I'm confident. You guys cleaning all the time. I see you're cleaning." So I mean, obviously, we do the best we can. Obviously, nothing is 100%
Right.
foolproof, but staying positive and making sure we're focused on the patients and keeping everything cleaning. Okay, you stay over there, or you get your temperature. Use that, the
Good stuff.
infrared, no touch. Yeah,
Good stuff.
so it's been it's
So,
been
what
good.
is your superpower, Miss Keva Price? What is your Black girl
Oh.
superpower that it's yours? Nobody else in the world can touch it.
Hmm. Oh, wow. So, I'd probably have to say it would just be my. So I have a kind of a quirky, or maybe say I sometimes call it zany sort of personality, and I hope that when I teach or instruct people, that kind of comes out to allow them to better grasp for whatever information I'm talking about. So maybe I don't know, put it in other words, to be able to give people education in kind of a cool, different way. Be something I'd say it'd be kind of a superpower. I don't know. I was thinking, gosh, anything like with dance or movement, but I just tend to. Oh, and then I just really love movement and just being active. I don't know if that's really a superpower, but
I think that's a great superpower. I think to be able to be approachable, um, and to present information in a way that people can receive it, where it's tangible, where they can touch it, where they can taste it, where they
yeah,
can feel it.
I try to like
So,
break it down, so it's not like so
yeah,
technical. Because I mean, I've learned things in other areas, stuff that like, how in the world do I understand like this topic?
yeah,
Well, I feel like everyone should know the basics of their body. You have it for hopefully 100 years, maybe, or however long. You need to know, like, okay, at least the basics of what's going on.
well, thank you so much, Miss Kiva Price,
Yeah,
for
you're
coming
welcome.
on, giving me a little bit of your time today, and and sprinkling some of your superpowers amongst the world. Yeah. So you can follow Keva Price on all social media platforms at Keva Price Pilates. I will place that in the comments. And I am Paula Marie. This was Black Girls Do with Miss Keva Price. And this is the safe, sacred space where all Black girls all over the world can come and share and sprinkle their superpowers all over the world for the world to see. Take care.
All right, thanks again for having me.
Thank you, sis. Thank you.